Welcome back to After Further Review with Coach Heist Northern. Coach, congratulations, sir, and how you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. What you congratulate me for?
Well, we know you're a Southern Jag for life, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we know you got TV connections, you got your Grambling connections, and I'm tipping my hat to you, sir. They keep saying luck, but I'll tell you, you spell luck Luck, and that stands for labor under correct knowledge. So they've lucked their way right into the championship game.
Hey, man, I'm proud of them guys, man. Look, I've been messing with my wife, telling her and Coach Fredericks they call a good ball game. They didn't leave it close because I really thought it was going to be a close game because Pine Bluff's best player, that wide receiver, is from probably about 45 minutes away in Opelousas, Louisiana. So I thought he was going to go back and have one of them 15-catch, 200-yard games against Southern because that seemed like it always happens that way. If you remember, we had Jonte Abear.
I was just thinking that.
Walk home.
Yes, sir. I was just thinking that, man.
He could walk home from Southern campus, and he would go down there, and you could put 250 yards between the kick returns, punt returns, running and catching the ball in the bank. So it always happened to Southern when a joker from right there get away. But he didn't have that type of game. But hey, man, I like to say I'm proud of them guys. I sent some text messages. I'm to the point now where I know those guys and we talk from time to time, but I don't like bothering particularly head coaches during the season. I'd probably communicate more with the assistant coach. Hey, and then on another note, man, and my dad actually, they smoke turkey wings over there. My dad did some turkey wings for the coaching staff over there. So, hey, them jokers start calling, hey, man, tell your dad thank you and all that. But, I mean, it's, we love Southern, but at the same time, we pull for all SWAC schools, but we are happy for Southern. And depending on what the Bridgeland Bears doing, I may make that ride over there to Jackson. Well, between the Bayou Classic and the SWAC championship game. But hopefully we have to miss them because my son is still in the playoffs.
Right. You ain't going to come out, what am I congratulating you? So you know what I was congratulating you.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I just, like I tell my wife, sometimes I just won't hear you say it,
Say my name. I got you. Well, look, but I know we got Southern doing their thing, and the game, I'm going to say decade, Coach, and I don't care who was missing, who wasn't missing, who was there, who wasn't there. Mississippi Valley taking care of business with FAMU. My.
Hey, but you know what? And, people think it's coach talk, but I always say sometimes it's about the mentality of the players, and Mississippi Valley have been playing close. And I say it over and over again, if you don't knock a joker out and they got a little gumption about themselves, they're going to be like, man, they ain't put us away yet. And you think about it. And then you put yourself in the Florida A&M mindset. They hadn't lost at home in over
games.
6 years, 27 games.
Yeah, 27 games.
That's a long time. I don't care how you cut it up and who you could play Walla High 20 times, beating them 20 times, but not losing at home was big. And then you have a Valley team that's coming in that hadn't won a game all season. And like I say, we lost to Nickel State one year when I was at Southern. We finished 11-1, and our only loss was to Nickel State, and that was their only win. So a lot of it is the mentality of the players going into the game. I'm sure FAM thought, okay, we lost to Prairie View blooded our nose, but we just got Mississippi Valley, and FAM's quarterback was coming back. So I think the mindset of FAM was, we got this, and then the mindset of Valley was, after the game got started, they got out to a lead, and then Florida A&M just didn't walk them down, and they played until the end, and lo and behold, they win a football game.
No doubt. And so congratulations to them. You feel good about them, because one thing I can say, there is a difference between getting beat and losing. And to me, when you lose, you give up. But when you get beat, you just got outplayed. And they never quit. They never quit, despite how ugly it may appear and what they may be lacking. So once again, congratulations to Coach Wade. And I guess I need to address the elephant in the room, Coach. The Panthers. You were there.
Yes, sir.
The one that got away, opportunity blown after opportunity. Say what you want to say. Alcorn has Prairie View number when they come to Texas for whatever reason, man.
Man, it's just like certain schools when they come over here, figure it out. You know, I know the Southern fans always say it, talking about Mumford West and all that kind of stuff. But certain schools find a way to win over here. Man, like you say, blown opportunities. I know sitting up there calling the game, I know it was 3 passes for sure that should have been touchdown. One was overthrown on a double pass. They had another overthrow. I think Burns or Spiller had got loose on a double move. Burns had a chance to catch one, didn't high point the ball. And then we had another one that the receiver and the DB were both jostling for the football, and it ended up hitting the ground. But the penalties showed up in the red zone again, which changed the dynamics of going for it. Because I think one time they got so many penalties, they ended up punting the ball where they should have been in the red zone, almost goal to go. But the penalties showed up, and just the overthrows. Oh, then there was a drop too. I mean, he threw one so hard, I don't know if Jerry Rice would have caught that one. But just the lack of opportunities. I'm sure when they went back and looked at the film and said, man, just look, we left 28 points on the board for sure. And then the defense kept you in the game. It was some 4th and 1s. Each team stopped each other on some 4th down situations. Prairie View defense did a good job on a couple of turnovers, holding them to a field goal. Like, I think twice the offense may have turned the ball over and didn't get a first down, and they ended up getting a field goal. So the defense played good, but, you know, that last drive, they were not able to hold them off. And it was a 4th and 1, and they sent the house, and once he got through, there was a touchdown. And then I said on the other, you know, while I'm watching the game, when Alcorn's quarterback, the second-string quarterback came in, I think the ball was on the 16-yard line. And if you go back and look at that touchdown that the backup quarterback threw, it's offensive lineman standing up on the 8-yard line. So it was, you know, they going to miss that. But, and I don't know how the safety didn't see the guy because he was right in front of him. But it is, it's some questioning. I know the players going to question themselves. The coaches probably done lost a few strands of hair. And the ones they did have turned a little grayer during that game and after that game, especially when you go back and look at the film and be like, man, we so close, but yet we so far away.
Right. You know, when you look at this, and I know it's still one game that remains, but I like to think that if you're any serious coach, you're already analyzing and looking toward the future on where you can close the gap on certain things and maintain in other areas. What do you see is the missing element for this program at Prairie View?
Oh, man. I would say the number one thing is experience at the quarterback spot, and that's the conference as a whole. You can look at every team in the conference pretty much was playing a new quarterback or a new quarterback to their system, or a guy that was there but only had 1 or 2 games of experience. So when you don't have upper-level quarterback play, you got to have a solid running game and a solid defense behind those guys. And I think sometimes as coaches, and I'm not saying this just Prairie View or Prairie View in fact, but I think we get too tied to a scheme and don't have a little bit of wiggle room when you don't have the experienced quarterback or when you don't have the most athletic quarterback. If you're a zone read spread team, you have to have an athletic quarterback. If not, you might as well go under the center and be a pro-style team. So you have to adjust to what you have in the cupboard, as they say. And if not, you got to stock that cupboard with superior talent. But part of, like I said, part of the problem with some of our schools, or where we are in the pecking order, is not very high when it comes to, you just think, I'm going to just use the state of Texas, for example. How many schools some of these kids have to pick through before they say, I'm going to go to Prairie View, Texas Southern, Grambling, or Southern, if you think about it in the big scheme of things, if you're recruiting a kid out of Houston. So that all that goes into account. But like my wife say, all of us are pretty much at the same level when it comes to type of kids. So that's where coaching comes into play, like how you adjust not only your scheme, but like in-game adjustments and stuff like that.
Right.
So
now,
you look at all of that as a coach. Okay, what do we need to find? Who can we get that's above what we have right now, or do we stick with some of the guys right now, hoping that they're going to get better through experience? Because, you know what you're dealing with sometimes.
Right. Now, they give him a hard time, but I love his approach when it comes to offensive attacking. That's Coach Connie Minor. He doesn't have, like, I'm a spread coach or I'm a wishbone. He has a mixture of styles that he goes, and whatever talent he has, he adjusts and tweaks his plan of attack to what he has in the cupboard. But it's almost like we try to force that round circle into a square peg every time, and then we get frustrated when the guy, because to me, when you got a kid that might be having all the talent in the world, but sometimes the computer is low on sales, if that makes any sense. But then simplify it. Just simplify it and adjust from there. And I'm not trying to talk about down on any kid or student athlete, or if it's a Jane C. Cat, then make it a Jane C. Cat offense and say, man, I need you to run to that 0 on the 30 or the 5 or whatever it is, and make it simplified, because when we look at it, the game is about 4 elements, Coach: running, tackling, passing, and catching.
Yeah.
Well, blocking, you have 5, you block.
Yeah. So one of the things that I after the game, I went over there with some of the Panther backers is close to where a lot of the former football players hang out. Guys, some of them that were there before I came to Prairie View, along with some guys that I coached. So I'm talking to one guy that played defense for me, and we were talking about simplifying and how he has to tell some of his coaches, like, Coach, we might not be able to do that, because if you look at the field, if they got 11 guys on the field, 4 of them are special ed kids, so you can't run stuff with a lot of checks. And then we were talking about different stories where, I was telling him when I was at Grambling, we had a young man that was ultra talented, but he was a freshman at the time. So what we did, he only played on our sideline. And before every play, he would look at the defensive backs coach, and the defensive backs coach had 3 signals. He would touch his face mask, that means man to man. He would point to the ground, that means we were playing cover 2, and he would point to the sky, that means we playing cover 4. And that's all that kid knew, and that's all we asked him to do. So sometimes you have to simplify it. And we had one guy where we had a wristband, and we put you cover number 2, or it might say blitz outside or blitz B gap. That's all his 3 cards said, and we would give him 1, 2, or 3. So sometimes you do have to simplify, or you do like Coach Odoms used to do, give me the defensive guys GPA, and if the team GPA for the defense is 2.3, we're going to have a 2.3 playbook. If the offense, which was usually a little bit high, 2.7, then we're going to have a 2.7. We can't have a 3.0 grade or playbook when these jokers got 2.5s and 2.7. So it goes back to what you're saying. You got to simplify and adjust to whatever you have in the cupboard. Like I said, you can't make gumbo if you ain't got the right stock to begin with.
I know, right? I know that you can't make gumbo out of bologna, right?
Nah.
Well, you can if you want to, but I'm not gonna eat it.
Hey, like we say, all soup ain't gumbo. So some jokers, when you go to their house, oh, we made gumbo. Then you look in the pot like, nah, man, that ain't gumbo. That's soup. You just got water and meat up in there.
And you brought up Odoms. He's struggling in Norfolk, but
yes, sir.
I love his approach, and I really became. I had, as they say, I had a man crush on him when he was at Southern, because he dealt with so many undercurrent things that people will never know what he had to deal with. Well, I'm talking about personnel, student athletes, administration, and was still producing a productive product on the field. And it took, you appreciate this. I know that's your school, but it took my fraternity brother to help bring y'all back to the championship, Coach Bailey. So.
and we grateful for it. But look, another thing, like we say, we talk about things that coaches have to deal with, and I mentioned this somewhere else, that before the game, and it just might not have anything to do with the game, but Saturday was senior day. Coach Bubba McDowell was out on the field setting up the gifts so they gave these guys like a stretch out picture that's on a frame, like a couple sticks that you have a tension frame. Coach McDowell is on the field before the game helping set those up. You know what I'm saying? So to me, and I know Bubba is a great guy, that is something that as a head coach, he shouldn't have had his hand on at all. That's my opinion, and I feel strongly about it, because I know, like you say, some things that I personally had to deal with as a head football coach that people don't see it, but, some people notice. That's when I'm like, man, that's Bubba out there. That's like, it would never would, and nothing against Prairie View. I'm going to just say that never would happen at some other schools. I'm not going to say just in the conference, but just anywhere else. Coaches don't have to worry about that.
There are certain things that come with the territory when you're coaching in the HBCU level. Let's just be honest about it.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you something else. There's no way that any other level coach on any other sport, the coaches ain't driving to games no more. The coaches, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. And let me say this, Coach. I'm going to say this, and I'm glad I got you on, because I get accused a whole bunch of times that I be trying to save coaches' jobs and this, that, and the other. It's not that at all. From being in the trenches, from being there when there's nobody there but us to cheer each other and support each other, carry each other on, I know what it's like from both sides of the fence, okay? I want to win just like everybody else. But there are some factors that you do weigh in, but it doesn't excuse for not losing consistently. But then there are some other factors that, like you say, they go unseen, undetected, that you say, I understand that part of it. So when we look at it, another word that we and I may have talked about this on there, off there, I can't remember, but you got to have, to me, borderline jerks, since this is a family show. You got to have some borderline jerks, in particular for football. Because football is a very dangerous sport. It's a highly competitive sport. It's a combative sport. And you can't be an usher trying to be out there on the field. And I ain't got nothing to do. I love the Lord with everything I have, but I'm not trying to get you to accept Christ on the field. I'm trying to make you meet Christ on the field, if that makes any sense.
Hey, like you say, I'm trying to send you to your maker.
There you go.
In the most legal way that I can.
Right. I'm trying to see if you was ready for your maker day. So and in that heat of a contest, there are things that are going to be said. There are things that are going to be done. There are things that are going to be seen and not seen.
Yeah.
And I go back. I was a linebacker, and I got into a heated. This is one of them true confession moments, Coach. The rascal was dating a young lady that I was sweet on, but I was too shameful to ask her out. So he was a tight end. I was a linebacker. He came across the middle, and he found out I had a liking for the girl. Oh, he's talking calls and mess, and hit me in the gut when nobody looking.
Yeah.
I grabbed this cage and I shot him with an uppercut. I got 15 yards, and my pop come out the stands. Hey, what are you doing? And man, now, Coach, you're a football player, because once football player, always a football player. I'm in combat mode. Hey, man, don't come down here trying to tell me what to do. This is me talking to my pop. Don't come down here trying to tell me what to do. Blah, 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 blah. And I didn't think about it right then, but after the game, I was like, Lord. I don't think I need to go to the house. My pop said, hey, son, I know I was probably wrong for coming down there, and I know you know what you're doing. You have, he said, but you got one more time to talk to me like that.
Don't you ever? Yes, sir.
And I said all that to say, man, you need a kid that tickles that gray area.
Yeah.
That tickles that gray area. I don't need you coming all the way across, brother, but just stay in that little safety zone. And I'm not advocating violence because it's a violent sport, as we mentioned. And I'm not advocating being a bully, but don't be no welcome mat. Which is kind of leading to, we had some ruckus these last couple of weeks in the SWAC, and we had some ruckus in the MEAC. And I'm not advocating none of that. And people talking about, well, you eliminate this and you got to eliminate that. No, first and foremost, I don't care how much you try to micromanage and how you try to centralize things. If a joker going to be a joker, he's going to be a joker. I don't care what extremes you go to. And so,
I think part of it is, you want to get it under control, but it sometimes, I just say as a coach, you have to lead up into the game with that. And then sometimes I've seen where you may have a coach or a referee sort of call both teams together and say, like, hey, let's get this under control, because if we don't get this under control, the next small thing is going to lead up to an ejection. But like I said, I had a chance to watch some of that game, and you can see, I'm going to just say the Alabama State game, you can see the build-up because it was such a physical game that would be a possibility of something happening. But that's something you got to say, hey, man, this is the way we're going to do things. Now everybody making a big deal out of the other team going to the logo and dancing or stomping on the logo, different things like that. And I don't know what led up to that fight, but I know what started the actual fight. But I could see from watching the game, like you say, it was real chippy. I'm talking about, I want to say the first quarter, Alabama State had a guy run out of bounds, and the guy from it must have been a punt return, and the guy from Jackson hit him well out of bounds. And you could see the guys, getting tippy and chirping then throughout the game. From then on, it was, all right, it's something Mike said also. Like I said, you got to see that coming for the most part. And then, it happened in the SWAC. It happened in the MEAC as well as the CIAA championship game. So, but like I say, part of it is you have to talk to guys about managing their emotions, because there's going to come a time when you're not on the football field that you're going to have to manage them. Like I said, I told my son this is exactly what I told him. Besides somebody spitting on you, I don't care, they call it big boy, where a guy may block you to the ground to get a pancake, then he try to rub his manhood all over your back or your helmet. I tell hey, man, that's something I say, don't let him put you in that situation. But if a joker spit on you, that's a whole different ball game. Now, other than that, you take your licking. If you get pancake, Miley Wop truck, then you just got to take that and deal with it.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And with that being said, talking about the MEAC, the stage is set for who the SWAC opponent will be facing off against South Carolina Central. Physical team, Coach. They get 2 weeks of healing and extra prepping, slight advantage. But I know you're a Southern man. But I need you to put your Columbia blue and yellow. I don't know why y'all call it gold. We'll put your Columbia blue and yellow to the side just for a minute. And in your heart of hearts, who do you feel is the better matchup for getting a SWAC win between Jackson and Southern, and why?
Man, I'm gonna tell you this. Now, I already predicted Alcorn was gonna beat Jackson, but that was before Alcorn quarterback got hurt last week. But Jackson got to deal with some suspension, so it might be still. It's gonna be a close game, I think, for a little bit. But if Alcorn don't have a first-string quarterback, I don't see them finding a way to win, and because I don't think they can big boy Jackson the way they did Prairie View a little bit. But I did predict that Southern would beat Jackson in the championship game, and the reason why is a couple reasons. It's hard to beat a team twice in the same season. The other thing is Jackson got a little winning streak going against Southern, and it's hard to keep stacking wins against the same team. So, in my opinion, it's no better way for Southern to end the streak than to go to Jackson, Mississippi, and win the SWAC championship in Jackson. Now, that might be a game. It might be fans fighting after that one because, like I say, they just alike, So, but that was my prediction. Now, as far as matchups go, I think Jackson's defense, because Jackson can play man-to-man with anybody. If they healthy, they can play that bad defense with one linebacker in the middle and pretty much shut down your running game and play football from there. But South Carolina State does a good job with the crossing routes. That's the only thing. And they got one joke. I can't remember the number, but I saw him play against North Carolina Central that he got a little something extra when God was sprinkling speed. He got an extra serving to somebody else's speed. Look, he might have got all that speed I left on the table, but
I know
that joke
right.
was sure enough running, man.
Wow. Well, we still got another, I guess, a week of football. We got this week, then you got your Turkey Bowl Classic, and then you got your Bayou Classic going on, and I know it's going to be revved up and ready to go, and a lot of fun in the atmosphere. Then you got your Bridgeland Bears trying to make their playoff run, so you got a lot of football to keep a track of, Coach.
Well, the thing is, like I say, you still got everybody got their last regular season game, but you got Jackson Alcorn this week. You got Florida A&M Bethune this week. Then the following week, you got the Bayou Classic. Even though, I'm going to tell you how crazy some people are. It's people in both Jackson, Mississippi, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that would rather lose the SWAC championship than for Jackson to lose to Alcorn or for Southern to lose to Grambling. I know when I was at Grambling, we won the SWAC championship and lost to Southern. Man, they ain't give a dang about no SWAC championship. Hey, look, Doug had 3 coaches on his coaching staff that went to Southern, and they wanted all 3 of us fired now.
Wow.
They ain't got nothing about no championship.
Boy, the conspiracy, man, they gave it up because for their alma mater. That's some crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, my paycheck was a little bit more important than my alma mater at that standpoint in my life.
I know that's
and
right.
it's always going to be. Like I said, I could donate to them at the end of the day.
Well, Coach, we got a lot to look forward to, man. And I guess we'll give a little sneak peek, man. You're going to be scheduled to make a special guest appearance for us coming up next week, too, right?
Hey, man, like my brother say, alleged, but yeah, I will do the show with you and your frat brothers, your local alumni association. But look, I'm like tell them I ain't taking no wooden nickels. Hey, if they don't want the truth, don't ask me. And look, I'm gonna end on this. So I always tell this when it comes to me not being political and tell the truth. So my wife was 7 months pregnant, and she comes in there with a black dress on. I forget where we're going, but she comes in there. She say, "Hey, do this dress make me look pregnant?" I say, "No, baby, your stomach sticking out. That's what makes you look pregnant." So, like I say, I tell it like it is, and if you don't like it, either don't ask me or don't listen to the answer. So
I know that's right.
Tell them be careful what they ask because I'm gonna shoot the truth to them. No.
I want folks to know. And look, we ain't trying to hype this up like the fight that was not last week, but it's unscripted. It's all it's friendly gesture, ladies and gentlemen. So don't nobody get off. Ain't no weapons being brought to the scene. But it's going to be some fun, and that's what it's all about. And, Coach, I appreciate your willingness to be a part of it, and I appreciate your participation with Open Mic, man. And we still got another week, but I hope that it's been as fulfilling for you as it has been for us, man.
Hey, man, and like I say, I try to give, whenever I meet dads that I know and their son doing something well, I always try to give them their props. But I told you before, off air, but man, your son Philip, man, that joker, he does a good job up there with us. And like I say, sometimes we can be talking and it might slip our mind. That joker done jotted a note, and then he'll write it down, and then he'll, like, you know how you tell somebody, like, roll with this or come on with it, spit it out almost. But I had a good time working with him and Andre, because last year I did the game just he and I, your son, and I did the Southern game, was the only game that I did. But to be able to do all the home games and the State Fair Classic, that was a good deal for me. So I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to get on the airways. And look, so since I started doing the show with you, Philip and I, not Philip, I'm sorry, Lionel and I have picked up a show. And then I met two other people. I met, the guy, he does the Jaguar Journal radio show, Perry. Okay. Perry told me he knew you. So, I picked up, I'm doing a deal with him. It's a guy that he didn't go to high school with me. We went to the same high school, but he's much younger than me, G, with SWAC and the Food. So those guys have heard me on your show and a couple of different things. So now it's like, hey, man, why don't you come do this? Because they like hearing me talk, not from more like an entertainment standpoint, but I can talk X and O's with you, and I can talk the administrative side of football. And they know I speak my mind. I don't have anybody telling me, hey, Coach, we don't want you saying this, because it makes the athletic director or the president look bad or the university look bad. So I can say what I want. And, like I said, I deal with the consequences either way. But I appreciate you and your son and Andre for, working with me and giving me an opportunity to, you like to say, open my wings a little bit.
Well, Coach, it's the gift that keeps on giving. And for the record, we've never given any say this or say that. You have total autonomy to say what's on your heart and mind, because that's what being independent is about. It's a struggle sometimes, but it's worth the struggle, brother. Trust me, it's worth the struggle, because, as they say, who the Son sets free is free indeed. And with that being said, Coach, we want to thank you again. Travel safe over the weekend, man. We're looking forward to this weekend's event, and we're looking forward to a Super Monday Showdown. Well, I can't wait for that one. He is the guru, Coach Heist Northern. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. We thank you guys so much for joining in with us. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter, X, at The Mike Prince Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And don't forget to visit our website for our 24-hour streaming content at obnradio.com. And until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.